Here are the apparatus we use for part 4. We have 2 batteries, battery holders. We have a round bulb and a long bulb. And these are the bulb holders. So once you put this bulb in the holder, the threads, which will be in this hole, will be touching this piece of metal connecting to one end, and the bottom of the light bulb will be touching the other piece of metal and connect to the other side of this bulb holder. We call them socket. These are the wires we use. There are 2 kinds of wires. One is like this. So they're called clip-to-clip wires, or alligator, because they look like an alligator to alligator wires. The other kind is like this. It's called plug-to-clip or plug-to-alligator wires. We use them to connect to our meters. We have 2 meters. We have a voltmeter and we have an ammeter. I've already zeroed their 0 readings. Now we are going to build the series circuit and then measure the voltage and the current on each part. So I will put the 2 batteries in their holders. Negative side to the spring, it's almost always the case. Connect the 2 batteries together, and I'm going to use the clip-to-clip wires to build up the circuit first and worry about the meters later. So start from the positive side of the battery. Here is positive. So I use the red wires to the from the positive side of the battery and connect to the round bulb. Still using the red wires. The other end will go to the long bulb. Series connection is just one next to another. So batteries. And going back to the batteries, I'm going to use the black wires showing the connecting to the negative terminal of the battery. So you can see there is this loop. Well, only the long bulb is bright. This round bulb is not bright. We're going to explain why it is so soon. Now we are going to measure the voltage of each part of this series circuit. We're going to measure the voltage of the battery, voltage across the round bulb and across the long bulb. So first, I'm going to use the voltmeter. Because there are 2 1.5 batteries, I'll set it to 5 volts to be safe. Black wires, plug to alligator wires, black wire to the negative side, and red wire to the positive side. Measuring voltage is fairly easy. All you have to do, since I have 2 wires, these 2 are the 2 sides on the voltmeter. All you have to do is to put these 2 wires to the voltage that you are measuring, okay? Because voltage is always across 2 points. So I'm going to measure the voltage across the battery first. So red to the positive side, black to the negative side. And there is my reading voltage across the battery. So I'm going to take a picture. That is your figure 4A. Next, you can notice that this meter did not interrupt the circuit. The circuit is still as it before. Long bulb is lit, round bulb is not lit. Now I disconnect my meter and I'm going to measure the voltage across the round bulb. Same thing. Okay, black to red is closer to the positive side of the battery, so this is the positive. This side is closer to the positive, and the black wire is the other end. In this case, it's still the red wire, but that's okay. That's away from the positive side of the battery. Well, there is hardly any reading, so which means the voltage is very small. That's exactly why this light bulb is not lit. So I'm going to change it to a more sensitive scale. In fact, I'm going to change it all the way to 1 volt and then take a picture. This is your figure 2. This is your figure 4B. Okay, next, disconnect this voltmeter. Change it back to 5 volts because I'm measuring another one. And this voltage, I know is higher. So red to positive side and the black to the negative side. And now we actually have a much bigger reading. The long bulb in this case has grabbed almost all the voltage of this circuit. To measure the current through different parts of this circuit, we first return the circuit to the simplest form, right? Only one loop through everything. And to connect ammeter, you cannot connect ammeter in parallel. Like this is my ammeter. I connect to measure the current through the batteries. You just connect like that, like a voltmeter. That would be wrong. You have to break the current first. If you want the current here, you disconnect the current here, and then put your ammeter, insert your ammeter between these 2 points. If you want to measure the current through the round bulb, you disconnect this point and you put your ammeter red towards red, black towards the other end. This is current through the round bulb. And then you can disconnect here to measure the current through the long bulb. So this is the current through the battery in the series circuit. Now we are going to connect 2 light bulbs in parallel. So it's a parallel connection to the battery, and then measure the voltage and the current through each part. So I'm going to connect the round bulb first. So positive side to one end and negative, the other end goes back to the negative side of the battery. So it's quite bright. The round bulb is not working. To connect the long bulb in parallel, one can simply just add a wire here, which is the same as the positive side of the battery. So connect my long bulb in parallel with the round bulb. So here is, I set up the parallel connection of the 2 light bulbs to the battery. Now we are going to measure the voltage in this parallel connection. So again, measuring voltage is easy. You don't have to break up the circuit. Here is my voltmeter. I already connect 2 ends with 2 wires and set it to 5 volts. So to measure the voltage across the battery, you can simply connect either end, both ends to the battery. So red to red, black to black. Okay, so that's my first voltage across the battery. Next, I measure the voltage across the round bulb. So you can simply connect these 2 ends of the voltmeter to the 2 ends of the round bulb. So red to red, black to black. So this reading is now the voltage across the round bulb in the parallel connection. And the next is the voltage across the long bulb. So we disconnect the voltage across the round bulb, and I got my voltmeter again. Okay, and I'll connect them to the voltage across the long bulb. So red to red, black to black. You can click. So this is now the reading of the voltage across the long bulb. Now we are going to measure the currents through a parallel circuit in the parallel connection. We are going to measure the current through the batteries, through the round bulb, and through the long bulb. So first, let's measure the current through the battery. Remember to use the ammeter to measure the current. You have to first break that current. So I'm breaking the current through the battery and then connect the red end closer to the positive terminal of the battery, and the other end just fill in the gap. So here I have the current through the battery. I have measured the current through the battery, so I'm putting the circuit back first. Circuit is back. Next, I'm going to measure the current through the long bulb, which is this one, because it's easier. I'm going to disconnect the current through the long bulb and then connect the positive to the positive side, negative away from the positive side. So this is now the current through the long bulb. Last, we'll measure the current through the round bulb. So first, put the circuit back. So there is back of circuit. So which current should I cut off before to put my ammeter in? So is it this one? No, it's actually the current through the long bulb because the long bulb is gone. Is it this one? No, it's actually the current through both bulbs. So neither of them will cut the current through the round bulb only. To disconnect current through the round bulb but still have the current through the long bulb going, you have to add another wire. So I'm going to get another wire and connect my parallel circuits like this. It's like a T. So here, that's my new parallel connection. Now with this, I can disconnect current through the round bulb only. See, that's the current through the round bulb, but the long bulb is still bright. Now I can put my ammeter to fill this gap. Red to the positive, black away from the positive, and that is current through the round bulb. Is figure 4K. So I'm going to take a picture of this. To confirm that is the current through the round bulb, you can disconnect this ammeter and see. See, I'm breaking the current through the round bulb, but not the long bulb. So that is indeed the current through the round bulb only.